everyone. This is a kind of impromptu call, and it's being made because an article is being distributed around different rooms and everywhere, actually, in the news and everything. Donald Trump, our president elect, made a comment to Justin Trudeau that he should, that Canada should become a state and that Justin Trudeau should be the governor of that state. And we just want to clear up some controversy over that. And Mason is with me, and he's going to give us some information that's going to prove that no, this is not happening. Okay, go ahead, Mason.
Okay. Um, Most people that have been listening to some of the videos on this channel are gonna have an idea that I don't quote stuff that's just hyperbole or somebody's opinion. And when I saw that article come up on Salty's website, whether it be true or not, the point is that the 11th article, the ninth article is a good one too, by the way, in the Confederations. It's specifically talking about Canada becoming one of the states. And most people at least have an idea that that didn't happen. And it couldn't possibly happen at this point in time without the complete revamping of our entire electoral process and the reestablishment of at least, I'll say, I think it's 18 states that were supposedly given statehood, but they were not properly seated because the people who did it were not properly, didn't have the proper standing. So there's more than just a little bit to this article. And I'm only bringing this up because I want to bring some principles into play here. Uh, Most of the people in this country have an idea something's going on, they just don't know what it is. And there's a foundational thing that takes us right back to the foundation of our system. You want to call it the Articles of Confederation, you want to call it the Declaration of Independence, you want to call it the Magna Carta, I don't care. The point about this whole process is this is about people waking up and coming to their individual personal responsibilities about themselves, their life, and everything around it. And that's what this whole process that I've been bringing into this is about. So this little article was just another one of those little pieces that is intended to bring people's attention to something that has not been fully and completely discussed. And we're going to get back to the core of it right up front, okay? The standing in this country has to do with the standing of the people. And the people have to have the proper mindsets, the proper attitudes, the proper principles in play in their daily lives that give them the idea of what sovereignty truly is. And it ain't about some monarch in some foreign country that has a bunch of subjects doing his bidding all day long. This is about each one of us in our private capacity doing the things in our own personal life that is the best example we can be for the rest of the people, either in our neighborhood, our county, our city, or our state. And all of this stuff now is starting to come together in a way so that people who are ready to take that big step into this sovereign world are going to find out that there's a lot of things that they may have to accomplish before they take that foundational step, which is the land. Once you're standing on a piece of ground, and we've talked about this before, once you're standing on the ground, it doesn't mean you own it. It doesn't mean you have standing to acquire it. It doesn't mean you have standing to protect it. It doesn't mean any of those things. You may or may not qualify for that thing called allodium, but the allodium isn't a piece of paper. It's got to do with the status of the individual standing there and the possession of it. So as we go through this little exercise, getting back to our roots, if you want to call it that, where else are you going to start? You know, everybody on this call has been here before, whether they like it or not, or whether they understand it or not, is irrelevant to the point that I'm going to make right now. You are right now sum total of everything you've ever been, and your position that you're finding yourself in now is, what do I do about this crazy thing that's somehow taken over the whole planet? Yeah, that this reptilian controlled and all of the garbage that goes with it. And I don't care if there's people here from other planets, other galaxies. All of this is irrelevant to each and every one of us in our personal private capacity. So as we start to move through this process and the steps that each and every one of the people that I'm pretty sure has already heard these little pieces about claiming the land, how do you do that? Well, first thing you might want to find out if you're actually in possession of a piece of dirt, and if you are, have you posted some kind of a notice to the population, to the public, to the sheriff, that you're actually the owner and possessor of it? I don't care if you qualify or not. That's not the point. It's going to be up to someone else to tell you whether you are or aren't qualified. And when that person steps forward, yeah, whoever you might be, you're going to have the right to ask them, well, what makes you qualified? Who put you in that position? Who do you work for? Who pays you? Where's your authority come from? See? And so as people begin to grow into their own state of awareness and they're willing to stand up, and I don't care if you may have heard this last call about the victim stuff. It's very important because you're, if you're in first grade and you're trying to figure out how to get into second grade and you can't pass the test, you can claim you're a victim all day long. It's not going to work because you haven't passed the test. So you victimized yourself by not passing the test. Nobody else did. So this victim thing isn't just a broad encompassing issue involving all the agencies and all the things you may have had happen to you over your lifetime. It's also got to do with your own personal, specific, personal responsibility to yourself and your life and your liberty, your property, and your family. And your family is the most important part outside of your own personal life. And I'm not talking about your blood. I'm talking about the people you live in and around. And if you choose to live in uncontrolled environment where wild animals run free and eat whatever they want, well then I guess that's where you're at this point in time. Doesn't mean you got to stay there. So once you start to wake up to what I'm trying to convey to everybody, which isn't about you having the ability to run amok. You want to travel the universe, or you just want to get into an airplane and fly all over the place and go play golf and do whatever you want to do. Okay, hey, that's fine. That's all well and good. Everybody has the right to do those things if that's what they want. That doesn't necessarily get you a passing grade to move into the next frequencies. So if you keep all this in mind, you start looking back at where we've been with this process. Standing is number one. You know, a tiger doesn't have standing to live in your living room unless you permit it, okay? But that's not a norm. And so the same thing applies to somebody that might want to move into the house next door to you and claim up the allodium. He may not have standing to be there, but it's not up to you to make that determination. If that person wants to put up a sign and put up a posting and post a claim and do whatever they want, hey, I'm right there looking at them and saying, hey, man, that's all cool. And then we're going to see if the neighborhood agrees with your position. Because this ain't just about me. It's about a bigger group than me. And that's why we had these little divisions on the planet called states. And the word state doesn't mean a thing. It means a union, a group of actual humans, actual people. That's what a state is in this union. So in order for the state to do anything, it has to be qualified and have standing by virtue of the status and the qualifications of the people, their claim or their lien on the allodium, which is the land and the soil, and you got to be able to act according to, I don't mean be able to, this has to become a natural inherent attribute of you. Because when you got some dirty little thing in your heart where you want to kill your neighbor for some stupid reason, you're not operating in the frequencies that are going to allow you to move on into the next level. You're not going to graduate. And so these are the tests in life that everybody is going to have to learn. There's no vacation here, and nobody gets a free ride. So I was prompted, just off the cuff, like normal, to jump into this thing and give everybody some kind of an idea about where this little piece of information that happened to poke its head up into the middle of everything, it is not a joke, because it was the intent of the founders to authorize Canada become one of the states. It's right there in the 11th article. And so if you think it's a joke, no, it's not a joke. And whether Trump has made a joke about it, I don't care. But they got to get a whole lot of things fixed in this whole system before any of that can happen. Trump can't do it. It's not his job. He doesn't have the authority. He can't invite some other whole country into our union. And in fact, we got to fix some of the countries in our own union, the states that are messed up, and the people's heads. There's a lot of stuff that we're dealing with here. So just keep in mind, whenever you see something like that posted, don't take the words of whatever you're reading in there. Go do your own research. And I'm looking at the 11th article in the Articles of Confederation. Whether it's spelled properly, whether it's properly capitalized, or I don't care if this is an exact copy of the original document, which you couldn't read if you had it. It says what it says. And this Canada thing, it didn't happen. And it's not going to happen until people get their heads out of their you-know-what and get themselves the standing that it's going to take to live amongst their own fellow sovereigns as each of us comes to this revelation. And that's going to be a grand awakening. So I don't know what else I can add to this. RJ, if you got any questions you want to pose, then I might be able to give you some further insights about something that I didn't touch on. Oh, did I fall off the wagon? What happened? Okay, are you there? Okay, well, um, I guess that's the end of the call, and we'll take it from there. Okay, everybody. Bye. Hello?
Hi, Mason. I
Oh,
was able to get back on. Thank you for the
oh,
information, and I'll get this loaded up to share with everybody. It's important that they read the documents, listen to the call, and have a clear understanding of the facts. So I
exactly.
appreciate your input, and we'll get it out there to the people.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, I had my thing on mute. So when I said no, I didn't have any more questions. And thank you so
Oh,
much. I,
okay.
I didn't know
You
you
got to
couldn't
quit doing
hear me.
that.
I didn't know you couldn't hear me.
I
Yeah.
had to take
Well,
over.
thanks a
Oh,
bunch,
my.
everybody, and we'll get this
Okay.
loaded. And thank you for your time. Bye bye.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye bye.